Okay, this is a video on the subject of dactylonomy. Now, dactylonomy is an archaic uh, counting modality. Long ago, way long ago, centuries. Now, this actually predated the existence of the abacus, aka the counting board, or the Celera cabinet. So, what is dactylonomy? Well, let's take a look at the word dactylonomy. When you think of the word dact, what are you thinking of? Fingers. Think about it. A pterodactyl is pretty much, all fingers. And, he had very, very small arms, but gigantic fingers. So dactylonomy literally means, it's Latin. I can't tell you the exact definition, but I can give you kind of a roundabout definition. It means to count by using your fingers. Dactylonomy, okay? It's a counting method that people would use, like when they were counting something and they didn't have any way to, enumerate. Like you would put, normally today we would take a pen and a paper, or a pencil and paper, and we'd just make tally marks. You're counting down, you're counting things. Every time you hit 5, you'd put 4 lines next to each other, and then you would put a slash through it to represent 5. With an abacus, you would just take the beads, and every time you were counting a certain amount, you would pull a bead down. It's discretionary as to how you would do this. Like, for instance, let's say you're counting marbles, and every 10 marbles you would put into a stack. You would put like 1 bead down, or whatever. It's like I said. But dactylonomy was not a method of counting that could be used, preferentially. Like, for instance, we decide how many in a group or a couplet we're gonna use, before we pull a bead down. Each handful of 5 represents 1 bead, or each handful of 10 represents 1 bead. That's not how dactylonomy works. Dactylonomy used specificity. For instance, the left hand, the thumb represented 10, and then each finger, the pointer, the ring, the index, the pinky, each finger represented 10. So on your left hand, you could count by tens, 50, 10. For instance, let's say you have a bunch of, let's say I got money here, right? Okay, I'm going to put down, this, I got 78 cents. Now, using my left hand alone, I couldn't count 78, but using my right hand, I could. The left hand was 50 for the thumb, and each finger was 10. The right hand was the thumb 5, and then each finger 1. So if I were to count down 78, I would put my thumb down. That's 50. Put down 2 fingers on this hand, left hand, 50, 60, 70, and then I would put down the 5 on the right hand, which represented 75, and then put down 3 more fingers, 75, 76, 77, 78. So all I have left are 3 fingers. So dactylonomy is a method of counting where you can actually do it either way. You can either put your fingers down, or you can leave your fingers up. Let's say you start off with balled fists, and then you're going to count 78. If you were to do it this way, you just put your thumb up, your pointer and your middle up on this hand. That represents 70, 50, 60, 70. I'm pointing at my thumb and then my other fingers. Now on this hand, you put the thumb up, and then you put 1, 2, 3, and then that would represent 78. 50, 60, 70, and then 5, and then plus 3 is 8. So this is a way of counting, and back then when they didn't have paper, they didn't have the abacus, or a different method of counting with beads or whatever. So this is a method they used. It's called dactylonomy, and this method goes way back, all the way to like the 8th century, and actually it probably goes back further than that. But we can actually use this today, and the thing is, I just gave you kind of a rough, kind of a rough outline of how this works. If you want to get technical, they would actually, back then, they would use, different knuckles and different bones of the hand, and you could literally count up to 9,999 by getting a little more intricate with it. But if you want to just be simple about it, you can just resort to using the toes. Just picture the big toe as 500 on the left hand, and each little toe as representing 100. And if you wanted to go into the thousands, use the other foot. The big toe represents 5,000, and each little toe represents 1,000. So if you wanted to count 5,963, it would be, let me tell you which toes would go down. Every toe on the right foot, the big toe, and then every toe on the left foot, and then of course what was that? 5,963. You would put down the left finger, see the left thumb, along with one of the other fingers, 60, and then on this hand just put down 3. 9,000, whatever. I forgot the number, whatever. My point is, this is a method of counting. It's very effective, and it's because you always have your fingers and toes, and you may not always have something to write with. So it's called dactylonomy. That's all I have. Thank you, and we are off.